Hey, this is Tom Olsewski with Team Olsewski, and today I want to talk to you about what to expect and why getting pre-approved as a first-time home buyer is important. Seems like people are terrified. My lender gets a ton of calls where someone says, my realtor gave me your number 3 months ago or longer, but I guess I really need to know what to do to get qualified. The same as I speak with someone who seems to be excited about getting started on the home buying process and refer them over to speak with my lender, then all I get is no response. The first thing I've got to tell you first-time home buyers is please don't be scared of your lender. Just call them or reply back when they reach out to you. They do pre-approvals all day long for free, and they can even take most applications online now if you want. They will talk about your financial situation with you. They will go through everything from top to bottom, and there's no reason to be scared, nervous, or feeling anxious. Any lender that's been in the business for a while or does a lot of purchase business will be asking the right questions. Obviously, they are going to know exactly what they need to find out from you in order to figure out what works for your situation. So don't be ashamed, embarrassed, scared, or nervous. They are your friends. Your lender in the home buying process can be your biggest advocate because they're the ones that are going to go, hey, you can't afford this. If your credit is not perfect, they will make recommendations on the best path to fixing potential issues. This decision is going to affect your lifestyle. This is going to make your life tough if not thought out completely. Me as your realtor is never going to know your true financial situation. So you might find a really nice home and may go, oh, it's only $30,000 more, whereas your lender may go, hey, it's $30,000 more. But how much do you like fast food and to be house poor? As an agent who has helped many people out of tough situations when the market crashed, I'm real big at making sure that just because you were pre-approved for $500,000, it will be a stretch. So maybe a $400,000 home or somewhere in the middle would be a better financial decision. So your lender is your friend, okay? Let's start with the second thing. I get people that are really afraid that lenders are judging them. In our society, no matter how much you make or how much money you have, people have been taught it's not enough. So we deal with a lot of awkwardness just because money is considered taboo in our culture. This is totally crazy. I mean, we need money for everything. So why shouldn't we be talking about it? Don't feel like your lender is judging you based on how much you make or how much money you have. They absolutely aren't writing it down, and judging you. All they are trying to do is trying to understand your financial situation. They turn the information they receive into a house. That's it. So don't feel like they're judging you as a person. They're really not. Lenders talk about money all day long. My lenders especially do a lot of education with first-time home buyers and answer questions like, hey, look, can I qualify for up to X dollar amount? So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing to be prepared for the lender to ask you is they're going to ask you about your income. They will ask, where do you work? How long have you worked there? How much do you get paid? Are you salaried or are you hourly? If you're hourly, how many hours a week do you work? Do you always work that amount of hours, just in case there happened to be a lot of overtime that week? When you get into details with the lender, the best thing to have handy is a W-2 and pay stub. The lender over the phone can easily go through that with you and be like, okay, so if you look in this column, it will say your hourly rate. If you're unsure, and I have to tell you, most people have no idea what they make, so don't feel ashamed that you don't know what you make. It's incredibly common, and then the lender will talk about assets. A lot of time here you may have little or nothing, and that's fine if you say it. The lender is not going to slap you, and they understand that life is expensive, especially if you're in California. California is very expensive, so just tell the lender what you have. They're going to talk about checkings, savings, and retirement accounts. And if you have a retirement account, they're going to talk about money markets. Anything you tell them, they will tell you if it makes sense or not. The stuff that they don't count are cars. Sometimes people would be like, well, I have this and I've had it for years and it's worth X amount of dollars. They can't count cars, gold bars, or jewelry, none of that. Many years ago, lenders could, but they don't anymore. The third thing the lender will be talking to you about is credit score. When the lender runs credit, I always think that you know what it is. And I think as a consumer, it's really important to understand. You should be asking for it when anyone runs your credit. Please understand that they will be talking about FICO score and not FACO scores. You get FACO scores from your bank or your credit card company typically. Lenders talk about FICO scores, and you can only get FICO scores from one source. I will have a whole video explaining the difference. It's too much for this video, but I just wanted you to understand there is a difference. You need to ask what your scores are, okay? It's important. A lender should go through the credit report because along with FICO scores, they should always be looking to see if there's something that could hurt you later on in the transaction. I have had a couple of my buyers get close to the end of a transaction, and then the lender they thought that was okay now says, ooh, I can't do the transaction. Oops. This should never happen if the lender does a good review up front. The lender should be looking for anything possible that an underwriter could ever come up with and make sure that we already have it covered in the file, and so that your loan goes perfectly through the system. And credit is often where there's a lot of surprises. The lender should go through your credit to make sure there are no potential time bombs that could blow up later in the transaction. So if you're thinking of buying a home, you want to get pre-approved. Reach out to us and we can put you in touch with good lenders. If you're talking to another lender, make sure that they're asking you the questions we reviewed in this video. If you've got great credit, that would be with 800 FICOs, the process should be pretty straightforward. Regardless, never feel ashamed about asking questions. You shouldn't be embarrassed about your financial situation. Your lender is your friend and they're going to be your biggest advocate during the home buying process. If you don't feel that way, you need to switch lenders quick. So to wrap up, reasons why you should get pre-approved. Number one, you can shop with confidence. Hopefully, you are working with a good lender. They will not only pull your credit, but collect your documents such as pay stubs and W-2s to support your application. This should help eliminate added stress when you are under contract. Your loan officer will be able to foresee any future obstacles you may face and collect the extra documentation up front. That way you can focus on planning the move. And number two, you can shop within your budget. Especially as a new homeowner, there are added expenses that can be forgotten about as a buyer, such as mortgage insurance or a higher tax rate or HOA. Your lender will take this into consideration when calculating your monthly payment. Number three, you are prepared to make offers. Based on your credit score, income, and monthly payment, they'll be able to determine the financing options that are best for you. And the reason you need to know that is because the real estate agent will have to include that in the financing section of the real estate contract. Oh, and the seller of the home that you want to purchase wants to know that you've been pre-approved too. Now, we've seen instances in the case of multiple offers where a lower sales price was actually accepted by the seller because the buyers had been pre-approved, while the other buyer did not have a pre-approval letter. I hope this video about getting pre-approved has been helpful. As always with a mortgage, every situation is different, so I always defer to our lending partners to give you specifics for your situation. If you have been thinking about buying or selling and would like more information, please feel free to contact me directly at 951-506-5744 or via email at tom@teamolsewski.com. There will be a slide at the end of this video on ways to contact us. This is Tom Olsewski with Team Olsewski and Coldwell Banker signing out. Make it a great day.